Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that we are reading chapter 6 Poets and Pancakes written by Ashoka Mitran. So this is the second video lesson of this chapter. So first of all, before moving ahead, let us recall what we have read as of now in this lesson. As of now in this lesson we have seen the author Ashoka Mitran tells us about Gemini Studio. Once he used to be the part of Gemini Studio, then one by one he describes each and every member of Gemini Studio. He tells about them. Further he tells how his work was considered of no use by other members of the Gemini Studio. Further he tells us his job in Gemini Studio. He used to collect the clippings from the newspaper, which was considered an unimportant work. So then gradually he tells us about the pancakes, which was the brand name of makeup material. Further he tells that how makeup materials and using makeup material, the makeup boys and girls, how they could make a good looking person into ugly looking one. Okay, so this is what we have read as of now in this lesson. So let's see what Ashoka Mitran tells next about the Gemini Studio, which was in Chennai in 1940s. Look at this paragraph once again, page number 58, second paragraph. The makeup room had the look of a hair cutting salon with lights at all angles around half a dozen large mirrors. It tells us that the makeup room had a look of hair cutting salon. So the makeup room was looking like a hair cutting salon, and it was having the about half a dozen lights on at all angles. It was having the lights at all angles and half a dozen mirrors. There were all incandescent lights, so you can imagine the fiery misery of those subjected to makeup. Further he tells us that there were dozens of lights which were emitting a great heat. So because of that, one can imagine the person who used to be made up, so how he was feeling during makeup. Okay, he was supposed to be made up, so how he was feeling. The makeup department was first headed by a Bengali who became too big for the studio and left. Further he tells that the studio was owned by a Bengali, but later he became rich and left the studio. He was succeeded by a Maharashtrian who was assisted by a Dharwad, Karnataka, an Andhra, a Madras Indian Christian, an Anglo-Brahmin, an Anglo-Burmese, and usual local Tamils. So he further tells us that these were the variety of the people who used to work in Gemini Studio. So later it was owned by Maharashtrian, who was assisted by Dharwad, Karnataka, an Andhra, a Madras Indian Christian, and Anglo-Burmese. All this shows that there was a great deal of national integration long before AIR and Doordarshan began broadcasting programs on national integration. So further the writer tells us that the national integration could be seen in Gemini Studio before it had started started on AIR and Doordarshan. Before AIR and Doordarshan started broadcasting of it, it could be seen in Gemini Studio. This gang of nationally integrated makeup men could turn any decent looking person into hideous crimson hued monster with the help of truckloads of pancakes and a number of other locally made potions and lotions. Further it tells that using the pancake, the makeup material and other lotions and potions, the makeup boys and girls, they could make a person of good looking, they could turn a person of good looking into ugly looking. Those were the days of mainly indoor shooting. So those days only indoor shootings used to be done, and only 5% of the film was shot outdoors. So those days only 5% of the films used to be shot outdoors. Used to be shot outdoors. I suppose the sets and studio lights needed the girls and boys to look ugly in order to look presentable in the movie. According to Ashoka Mitran, makeup material was required to turn the handsome men into ugly ones so that they could look presentable in the movies. A strict hierarchy was maintained in the makeup department. There was a strict hierarchy in the makeup department. Meaning of hierarchy I made you write in the last class. It is a system which members of an organization or society are ranked according to relative status or authority. Okay? So hierarchy was maintained in the makeup department. The chief makeup man made the chief actors and actress ugly. So the chief makeup man used to make the chief actor and actress ugly. His senior assistant, the second hero and heroine. The junior assistant, the main comedian. So it was a hierarchy of the makeup department. And so forth. The players who played the crowd were the responsibility of the office boy. So further he tells us that the player who used to play the role of crowd, it was the responsibility of office boy to do his makeup. Even the makeup department of the Gemini Studio had an office boy. On the days when there was a crowd shooting, you could see him mixing his paint in the giant vessel, and so when the producer, director, they were supposed to show the crowd in the movie, then the office boy used to mix the paint in a giant vessel and used to slap it on the crowd players. The idea was to close every pore on the surface of the face in the process of applying makeup. So the idea was to close, his idea was to close, in a funny way. Ashoka Mitran tells us that to cover every pore of the every small hole, that pore on the face in the process of applying makeup. He wasn't exactly a boy. Further, Ashoka Mitran tells us that the whom he is calling office boy, whom they used to call office boy in Gemini Studio, actually he was not a boy. He was in his early 40s, and that office boy who used to be called office boy, who used to be regarded as office boy, so he was a man in early 40s. Having entered the studios years ago in the hope of becoming a star actor or a top screenwriter who entered in the film industry studios years ago, and he entered in the hope of becoming a star actor or a top screenwriter or director or lyric writer. He was a bit of poet. That office boy, the boy who was the man who was regarded as office boy, he was a bit of poet too. Now look at the next paragraph. In those days, I worked in a cubicle. Cubicle means small partition of area. Okay, cubicle. Cubicle means a small partitioned of area. A small partitioned area. A small partitioned area of a room. Cubicle means a small partitioned area of a room. Okay. So let me rub it and write down. Next word. Barge into. Next word is actually I was closing the area which is reflecting the light here. Okay. Barge into. Barge into means to walk into a river. Barge into means to walk into a room. So in those days, and one new word, French window is there. Let me write down that. Let's say French window. Each of a pair of glass doors, each of pair of glass doors in outside wall in outside wall and door typically open into garden or balcony, and door typically open into a garden or balcony. Open into a garden or balcony. Okay. French window. In those days, I worked in a cubicle, the whole side of which were French windows. In those days, Ashoka Mitran used to work in a cubicle, a small partitioned off area of a room. He used to work in a small partitioned off area of a room, two whole sides of which were French windows. Okay, and two whole sides of that room were French windows, each side of their place, type of window in which each side of their glass doors in outside wall and door typically open into garden or balcony. You can see the image of it on internet, on Google. So, in those days, I worked in a cubicle. The author Ashoka Mitran used to be work in a partitioned room, which was having a French window. I didn't know at that time they were called French windows. That time Ashoka Mitran was not aware that those windows were called French windows. Seeing me sitting at my desk, tearing up newspaper day in and day out, most people thought I was doing next to nothing. So as he used to collect the clippings from the newspaper, so he used to tear up newspaper day in and day out. That is why most people thought that he was doing nothing. It is like that the boss thought likewise too. He said his boss was also thinking the same. So anyone who felt I should be given some occupation would barge into my cubicle and deliver an extant lecture. So anyone who felt I should be given some occupation would barge into my cubicle. So he said that anyone who was thinking that I should be given the different job, who should walk into my room without being invited and deliver an extant lecture. So the people who used to think that Ashoka Mitran used to do nothing there, so anyone used to come to his room and used to deliver a lecture to him. The boy in the makeup department had decided I should be enlightened on how great literary talent was being allowed to go waste in a department fit only for barbers and perverts. Perverts means a person whose sexual behavior is regarded as abnormal and unacceptable. Perverts. Pervert. Yeah, pervert. Pervert means a person whose sexual behavior. Person sexual behavior is regarded as abnormal, is regarded as abnormal and unacceptable. Okay. So further, Ashoka Mitran says that I should be enlightened on how great literary talent was being allowed to go waste in a department fit only for barbers and perverts. He said the department was meant for only barbers and perverts, and it was a waste for others. It was the waste for those who had who were really talented. So according to Ashoka Mitra, the talents were being wasted. The other person, just they were wasting their talents in the studio, as it was meant for barbers and perverts. Soon I was praying for crowd shooting all the time. So soon he was praying for crowd shooting all the time. Neither short of it could save me from his epics. Nothing short of it could save me from his epics. Epics means an exceptionally long and arduous task or activity. So nothing could, nothing short of it could save me from his epic. So nothing saved him from, a long task or long activity. Epics. Epics means an exceptionally long way, and exceptionally long way, or arduous task or activity. Long or long arduous task or activity. So he says that soon I was praying for crowd shooting all the time. So nothing short of it could save me from his epics. So nothing could save him from his, long task or activity which he was doing. In all the instances of frustration, you will always find the anger directed towards a single person, openly or covertly, and this man of the makeup department was convinced all the woes, ignominy, and neglect were due to Kothmangalam Subbu. Let me write down meaning of some difficult words. Covertly means secretly. Let me rub it. Covertly means secretly. Votes means distress. Ignominy means public shame or disgrace. Ignominy means public shame or disgrace. Okay, ignominy means public shame or disgrace. Further he says that In all instances of frustration, you will always find the anger directed towards a single person, openly or covertly. He said that in all the instances, you will always find a person was always found the anger directed towards a single person, either openly or covertly, either openly or secretly. The anger was expressed towards the single person, and that single person belongs to makeup department, and he was convinced that all his woes, all his distress and ignominy, the public shame and neglect were due to Kothmangalam Subbu, and he was considering all his problem due to Kothmangalam Subbu. Subbu was number 2 at Gemini Studios. He couldn't have had the more encouraging opening in films. Subbu was number 2 in Gemini Studio. He, could not, he had no, he couldn't have had a more encouraging opening in films than our grown-up makeup boy had. So he could not, play his role well. He was not famous. On the contrary, he must have had to face more uncertain and difficult times. So on the contrary, he had to face many difficult times, for when he began his career, there were no formally established film producing companies or studios. When he started his career, there were no firmly established film producing companies or studios. Even in the matter of education, especially formal education, Subbu couldn't have had an appreciable lead over our boy, but by virtue of being born a Brahmin. So as he was not a good actor, but he had good luck because he was born in Brahmin family. A virtue indeed, he must have exposure to more affluent situation, a good luck. That is why he must have had exposure to most affluent situation, to most rich situation and people. He had the ability to look cheerful at all the times. The Kothmangalam Subbu had the ability to look cheerful at all times, even after having had a hand in a flop film. Even after giving a flop film, he used to give smile. He always had work for somebody. He could never do things on his own. So he always, had work for somebody. He could never, he did not do anything on his own, but his sense of loyalty made him identify himself with his principle, completely turn his entire creativity to his principle's advantage. So as he belonged to a Brahmin family, so that is why he was getting his advantage of it. He could never do things on his own, but his sense of loyalty made him identify himself with his principle completely and turn his entire creativity to his principle's advantage. So as you have seen many persons who don't have capability of doing the things, but they had their own principle and they always keep on preaching about their principle. So Kothmangalam Subbu was that type of man. Okay, so that is why he was and he belonged to a Brahmin family. So those days Brahmin family were regarded. So that is why he belonged to an affluent rich family. So that is why he got place in Japanese studio, and he was getting role in movies. Okay, so it's all about this video, and by next video I'll explain a few more pages. So thank you dear students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.